Hello YouTube, this is Driver, and I am going to be doing an official review of my Smith & Wesson M&P Subcompact 2.0, chambered and 9mm. Now, my very first Smith & Wesson that I purchased was this, but the Gen 1, and that was back in 2017. I had that gun for about a year, and I really loved it. I thought it was a spectacular gun. But I guess I wanted to sort of upscale to something better, so I sold that one, and I purchased a it was a P30SK H&K, and I love that gun. I still have that gun. I've had that gun for years, and I will never trade that gun for anything. But this year, I definitely wanted something more, I would have to say more replaceable, I guess. My biggest fear with the P30SK was that I'd use it and whatever event, and then I'd lose it forever. But if I get something like this, I could easily replace it and find a new one online. But on with this one. Let's see. I'm going to go with, let's start with reliability. This has fed pretty much everything from CCI Blazer, Fiocchi 115 grain full metal jacket, Winchester white box, Freedom munitions, and it's functioned flawlessly. I have not had one jam, regardless of how fast or how quick I shoot it. Accuracy is pretty damn good. I'm definitely getting 2-3 inch groups from 7 yards. No, I'd say, but no, 14 yards. About 14 yards, and the trigger, I'll definitely have to give some props to the trigger. Trigger itself breaks beautifully. Now, there's a lot of take-up, but I love that reset. The take-up starts from here, you get past the blade, and then there's that mushy area. I have no interest in an Apex trigger, so it's either I like this trigger for what it is, or just get rid of it and get a new one. But I'll definitely give reliability an A+, and accuracy and trigger control also, I'll give that an A. Like I said, the take up here is enough to take maybe a few points off, but not enough to drop it to a B. So I haven't had any issues with, resetting the safety or anything like that. And that trigger, I do love how crisp and how tactile and responsive that is. I love it. Let's see, cost. Let's go with cost next. Cost. This was at the height of COVID when I purchased this, so I will say, thinking back, this was about $550. I purchased it on Gunbroker. Shipping was $25. Clearing was another $25 from my local FFL. So this cost me about $600. The Gen 1 that I got back in 2017, and that was brand new, cost me a little over $300, so I paid double to get this model back. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. I just wish that I had purchased this, maybe last year when it was $400. That would have made more sense. It came with 2 magazines, if I'm not mistaken, and I purchased 10 additional. Now again, the reason why I went with this, other than the P30SK, is that the Gen 1 and the Gen 2 magazines are interchangeable. That's the Gen 2 that's what came with the gun. This is also what came with the gun. I replaced the flat with another finger rest, and this is a Gen 1 that I had left over from the Gen 1 that I sold 2 years ago. All of them function flawlessly. So good to the point that I went on eBay and I purchased about 8 more Gen 1s, and they all work perfectly. So yeah, that also adds to reliability and cost and parts that are customized. I'm pretty sure that if you do not like the stippling, you can replace it with the Gen 1, which is more of a smoother thing. So you still have the stippling here, but you'll have a smoother grip here. So you don't need sandpaper or anything to sand it down. You could just get a Gen 1, replace that, and that will work just as well. I wish I had that around, but I have that at the office. Maybe next video I'll do grips. Let's see, ease of fire and concealability. Yeah, I would have to go with this is definitely very comfortable to have in your hand, and the stippling definitely aids, especially when it comes to rapid fire drills. My hands do not move from this position. It's just dead nuts. Just keep pulling the trigger until click. Switch out the magazine. Other one, hand goes in the same place. Ease of fire, ease of control. I'll give that an A plus. I do kind of wish maybe the sides were a little bigger, maybe just a little bit more room to just sort of fill up my hand, because I don't know, maybe just so I can have a little bit more, because like my grip is like this, so it's probably just an operator issue. But with this, I would definitely appreciate a little bit more space. This is the largest. This is the largest that they have on there, and the largest for the Subcompact 45 and the 9mm Subcompact are definitely different for obvious reasons. The grips for the 45 comes out down to around there. I'll say just above the bottom of my my pinky there. And I love that 45. That 45, I gave that an A plus, and that will always be an A plus gun. Let's see. And then concealability. I carry two methods during the winter. I use a shoulder holster with 2 extra magazines on backup, and I have a Kydex inside the waistband holster with the belt loops and a backup magazine and a left hand pouch. And with the inside the waistband, it is a little heavy. This is definitely not a light gun. It's small, but it definitely has a little bit of chunk to it. There's definitely a good bit of mass to it. So you know that you would feel that you're carrying something, even with the shoulder holster, but it's definitely not enough to make you not want to carry it. It's not nearly enough to make you forget about it, when you leave. But this is definitely a high-class gun in my opinion. Overall, forgot about the sights. I put some green glow-in-the-dark paint on there, and they illuminate pretty good, a lot better than the standard white. But on to overall, I would definitely have to give this pistol an A. I'll have to say just a standard A. There's a few things, like I said, about the grip maybe not conforming to my hand exactly the way I'd like it to, or in comparison to the 45, which obviously has a bigger grip, and the trigger having that wall, that take up there. I wish there was just more. You get past the blade and then there's the wall, but you still have a bit of travel there. But I guess when it comes to trigger and customization, it's more of an operator preference than anything that really takes away from the reliability or the function or just the overall greatness factor of the firearm. So if you see this in stores, especially the 2020 model, which this one is, pick it up. It's definitely a fantastic gun. It will serve you well for either home defense or for concealed carry, but this is definitely an A gun in my book. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Stay safe. Take care.